Hello, and thank you for listening to this Ringside Report Network podcast today. You can find more in-depth, exclusive written content on our website at ringsidereport.net. Before I hand it off to Dave and the team, I want to remind you that we are a listener-supported creator team. On our website, we would appreciate it if you supported our sponsors or purchased our exclusive merch. Branded clothing, mugs, and even jiu-jitsu gear, which are available only in our store. You can become a recurring supporter of our content at membership.ringsidereport.net. This, along with all our podcasts, is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Amazon, iHeart, and TuneIn, wherever you get your podcasts. It would help us immensely if you left a positive review on Spotify, Apple, or Amazon. Thank you for your support and enjoy the show.
Brady beats Leon in London, UFC Mexico this weekend, and Joe Rogan won't come to Canada.
Let's go!
Doesn't want to come to Canada. Oof. AJ coming in hot with the papers. Loud
What's up,
paper
man?
shuffling going on there, AJ.
Is
AJ,
it
you're so
loud?
loud.
You're so loud.
I gotta make it look like I'm important, by shuffling the papers, just like I work. What's up, boys?
Hi.
Hi, how are you, Dave?
Yes, boy!
What?
That was
So
nice.
it's Yankees. Today was the opening game?
Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
Yeah. Yankees
Springtime,
won their
bud.
first game. Happy opening day.
Miracle.
Baseball.
I'm surprised.
What do you mean?
Like Freddie said, there was so many injuries, I thought that they weren't going to pull through, but they did.
I mean, they're going to win games, AJ. It's a 162-game
Yeah.
season. They're going to win some
I know,
games.
I know. I was just like,
I don't know what you're surprised about.
I was going
They played
against
a good
them
game.
today.
They had a good
Yeah.
game today. Nice. Volpe,
Well, that's a good sign.
homer. Wells, homer. Austin Wells led off with a home run. He's the first catcher in Major League history to lead off on opening day with a home run.
Jeez, really?
Yep.
Wow.
I mean,
Big day, man.
it's a weird stat. Catchers don't usually
Yeah, exactly.
lead off. That's, yeah.
I
Exactly.
thought Gary Carter did a few times, no?
You would know better than us, old man.
Yeah,
I'm too young to remember the lineup before I was born. I don't know exactly.
yeah, I think
the
Gary.
details.
I think he did.
I'm
I mean, he was
I'm
an
being
amazing
told by
slammer.
somebody who would know more that Gary Carter never led off for the Expos.
That was from above.
Yeah.
He would know.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm surprised. I was sure he did, but hey,
So yeah, the Yankees won. I
days.
watched the game today. It was great to watch Major League Baseball again today. It was fantastic. I won't bore you with the details. It was a close game at the end. They won 4-2. It was 4-1 going into the ninth. Our new hotshot closer, Devin Williams, almost blew it. He loaded the bases, and it was bad. But then he came through and pulled it all together. Sack fly drove in one, but he held it and got the save and got the win for the Yankees, which was nice. 4-2.
well, congratulations, Yankees, man.
Yeah.
But there's another team that didn't do so well this weekend, man.
The Blue Jays, they got
And you know who-
smashed by the Orioles today.
Well, yeah, the
Destroyed.
Blue Jays didn't do so well either. But I'm talking about like World Cup qualifying soccer, man. Like the gold, man, didn't pull off. Argentina beat Brazil 4-1. It was a thrashing, man. It was not good. Not good for Brazil.
Okay. I'm unaware of that.
And
but,
Italy didn't do
there's
so well
something.
either at the Nations League.
Okay.
Been a rough
Okay.
week, man.
We're here to talk about the UFC. The UFC was in London last weekend.
That
AJ's
was a good one,
parlay
though.
won.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. And
AJ
AJ
made you
was
some
very
money, man.
quick. AJ, you were very quick, I noticed, to jump on our Instagram and our Twitter and all the things for Ringside Report to make all these graphics about AJ was right, AJ was right. Yet when Fred or I have parlays that win, there's no graphic, there's nothing, there's no advertising.
Listen, Mike, because this was a good payout. It was like $20, and the payout was around $271, if I'm not mistaken. So that was a good grab, honestly.
What was it?
I didn't think it
was
was.
it?
That sounds
it was 20...
a little high.
No,
you picked
it
all
was
the favorites.
No, I didn't, bud.
Yeah, you did.
Well, listen, man.
You did.
Let's see. I'll tell you. What was it was around 271, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, AJ. I can find out exactly.
No, it wasn't. Well, I'm looking at my stats here. Wait a sec, bud.
You always got to double check AJ's stats.
But...
They're not always clear. But you did pick all the winners. You said Sean Brady would win, and he did beat Leon Edwards last week.
He just manhandled Leon. Leon was having a rough night, man. But it just goes to show you the power of Sean Brady. This guy, man, his grappling, his wrestling is elite, and he's dangerous. And Leon Edwards, man, didn't look good in his home crowd, and there was a lot of people that stood out for me. Molly didn't do so well. I expected Molly not to do that great, but that Alexia, man, came in and submitted her, and submitted her in style.
Okay.
Kevin Holland impressed me. He came out, he's a hit or miss, but he came out and he performed well.
He won. You picked him. He was an underdog on your parlay, AJ. Okay, the lone underdog. He was a plus 105, and he did win. You did pick that correctly. He beat Gunnar Nelson last weekend.
Yeah, baby. And then you had Carlos Olberg against Yan.
Yeah. And you were saying your parlay was, what was the payout on $20?
270.
270 or somewhere around there. Yeah. 271.
Okay. So
I have my doubt.
I'm gonna show you,
or whatever.
I'm gonna go for half of that.
Maybe it's half. I don't remember, man.
Maybe
it's a long week. It's been a rough
remember.
Either
AJ's
or, man. I cracked.
AJ's backtracking because he knows the show he's on and he knows what's about to happen. Right? AJ, you know what's about to happen, right?
Yeah, well, Brazil didn't expect that. But then again, it's Argentina without Messi. If they can play like that. What was it? It's about 170. There we go. I was close. What is it?
You said 270.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, 127. 127. There you go. That's a good payout.
You said 270. It's 127,
that
bro.
was a mistake. I was thinking of something else. Close enough, man. It's in the hundreds. 1 million, 3 million. It's still in the millions, bro.
Probably sit on the Instagram too. AJ pays out $20 to get you 2,000. Look at that. AJ's a genius.
But listen. Well, I did become the genius last weekend. Every time, I'll tell you something. We got to look at the stats, but every time they fight in London, I do very well. I tend to get my picks, man. London is good to me. Just like Mexico was going to be good to me on Saturday.
London was not good for Leon Edwards. He lost again in England.
I mean, Sean, like AJ was saying, Sean Brady had a good performance, and you know what, man? Sean Brady might be a player in that division, man. That was a very impressive win, and his only loss is to the champ. So, at some point, man, if he keeps on winning, he'll get a rematch, and let's see. I liked his performance. I saw the highlights and all, and I was impressed with what he did. He was dominating, and like I say, he might be a player.
Yeah, I think he's good. He beat Leon. That's a big win for him.
Dominated him.
Is there anything exciting about Sean Brady, though? He's good, but I just go,
yeah.
Are you excited to watch him
fight? He's exciting, man. Actually, after the Leon Edwards fight, I got to admit, it was exciting.
It was okay. Leon was kind of...
it was good, man.
Barely there.
No, he was there. He was just being manhandled, Dave. It was a grappling and wrestling clinic, and there's a reason why Sean Brady's 18-1. And he got submitted. Let's be honest. It was it was a great performance by Sean Brady, but it wasn't a terrible performance by Leon. He was trying to do what he could to survive, and he just couldn't get away from it. He was just being manhandled, and in the end, the submission came in. I was expecting it. I was like, here it comes. It's going to come soon, and it did, and it was a nasty one. But it is what it is, man.
I wasn't super impressed. I didn't love it. I need a I'm not impressed by your performance button. Can I get that? Can I get one of those? A GSP not impressed by your performance. Yeah. I need GSP saying I'm not impressed by your performance. I need a button to hit that does that for me at some point. I think the team is working on it right now.
And get a Connor one that says, whatever Connor says.
I don't need anything from Connor. Maybe a who the fuck is that guy?
I want a Connor.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Who the fuck?
I got.
You got to be nice to Connor, Dave. He's going to be president of Ireland at some point.
I love that, my yes boy.
Yes, boy.
Yes, boy. Pretty deadly. Hey, they might win the tag titles tomorrow, brother. Ooh, pretty deadly time in London. Let's go. Flat show that the UFC delivered on Saturday night. The crowd wasn't impressed. Tom Aspinall wasn't impressed. This is what the current heavyweight champ of the UFC said, or interim champ, said on the Ariel Helwani show. He says, to be honest, I feel like UK MMA needed a big night at the O2. I was looking through the card top to bottom, and obviously there's a lot of names on there, UK guys, that people worldwide wouldn't be familiar with. But I know them because I've seen them come up on the local scene through Cage Warriors and all the rest of it. There were a couple matchups on there where I was like, these aren't the best known guys in the world, but this is going to be a banger, and it's going to bring some excitement. And to be honest with you, it was just flat as hell in the O2 on Saturday night. I was quite disappointed because, I don't know, we needed something. That's Tom Aspinall saying this. It sounds like me. Flat.
Does sound like you, man. Yeah, I didn't find it flat. I thought it was an exciting card, man.
TKO Group
sometimes it
sucks.
Happens.
I don't know why you guys are saying that. I don't know why Aspinall is saying that. It's because his local guys lost, and that's what it comes down to.
It's more than sometimes it happens. It's not like, we had big names on the card and they just didn't deliver. The names weren't really there. They don't really have names. They don't have anything to
for a fight night, there was a couple of names last week. There was a Leon. There was what was the co-main event there? Yan.
Yeah.
You had Kevin Holland. So for a fight night, it was decent on the names. I think it's more the performances that came up flat, and that happens, Look,
I think there's a big difference that you're missing, though, Fred. A fight night, you're looking at from your perspective of a TV viewer, right? You're watching a fight night, and you watch the Apex fight nights where they sell no tickets. They're in that little thing that the UFC owns in Vegas, and it doesn't even matter. This is not one of those fight nights. This was in London, England, one of the biggest cities in the world, and they were at the O2 Arena, a big deal arena, an arena, by the way, that the WWE is running for SmackDown tomorrow and then again on Monday for Raw, 3 weeks out from WrestleMania. So it's a big deal spot, and the UFC gave you that. And I bet you they charge top dollar for the tickets as well. I'm just making the point, and I think a lot of people are making the point that this is supposed to be like a headline, big-time type of show, and what they're giving you is very middle-of-the-road fight night, Omaha, Nebraska, but they're giving it to you in London, England, and people in London and around the world are like, what was that?
Yeah, but who would you have put in? These are good names, man. Leon, Yan, Kevin Holland. Even Molly was there. Regardless,
Dave is right, though, because this card is 3-4 fights deep. After that, it falls off the hill completely. Sean Brady, Leon Edwards, nice little fight night fight. Yan against Olberg, also nice little fight night fight. Holland versus Nelson also falls there. But after that, Molly, maybe, but who is Alexia Tenera? I don't know, really.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Duncan.
Well, she stepped in. Yeah, but
I
she
mean,
stepped into the last week.
There's no names.
She
To create a buzz, you need some names, and there's the rest of that card was really lacking on names. And also, like, I'm looking at the results, it's all a bunch of decisions. I was at UFC 94 when BJ Penn and George St. Pierre fought, and every fight before that fight was decisions. And honestly, like, the atmosphere was terrible. Like, good thing that George beat up BJ and gave us a sort of a finish. BJ, like, didn't answer the bell. But, like, when you get decision after decisions, the crowd starts to get flat. The crowd starts to get a little, like, boring. So, yeah, I could see that happening on last Saturday's card.
0 knockouts.
Yep.
0 knockouts.
Yeah, but you had like 3 submissions.
And a bunch
it's
of
not like
no-names.
it wasn't like closed fights.
And a bunch of nobodies, too. Nothing to get excited
come on,
for.
There was only 2. Listen, out of those 5 fights, man, 2 were decision and 3 were submissions. What more do you want, bro? A gunfight?
Okay,
the
so
UFC,
what? I should care that Shonda Bannon armbarred Pooja Tomar? Like, should I really care about that, AJ?
Exactly.
No, but listen, it's not like the card in Mexico coming up on Saturday gets deep, and neither is the Montreal card when you think about it is deep. I mean, I think they just need to.
That's the point.
Exactly.
I think that's the point.
But as long as
the UFC has spread themselves too thin. It's not that good of a product right now, and they're overextending. They're doing too many shows. They don't have any stars, and the product is suffering. As a person who loved the UFC pay-per-views like maybe a year or 2 ago, you notice the dip. And the dip, sorry to say, kind of coincided with the merger with TKO and the WWE and all of that. That's kind of when the UFC started going downhill. I don't know if that's a coincidence, but the UFC right now is in a very tough spot. They have no stars. No wonder they keep promoting Kevin Holland. He's one of the few guys on these cards that you've even heard of. He's not that good, but at least you've seen him around. Nobody has a personality. None of their champions are selling.
No, but listen, come
on, man.
Pereira.
They don't have Pereira. Pereira just lost. Pereira's 37 years old, coming off a loss. He was their draw. What do they have after Pereira? Who's the next biggest draw after Pereira? Maybe Islam Makhachev? And even then, he needs to fight a name to be a pay-per-view draw, which doesn't make him a pay-per-view draw, doesn't make him the A side. He's the B side of every big title fight that he has. He wants to fight Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje. Why does he want to fight those guys? Because those guys are names. He doesn't want to fight, Arman Sarukian, because him and Sarukian aren't selling pay-per-views. He's not making money off that. The UFC has no bankable stars right now. Conor McGregor is off doing who knows what in Ireland, trying to be president of cocaine. And John Jones is halfway retired. They have nobody. And they are running shows every week with nobody on top.
Can I say also, like, a lot of the big stars are not active enough, it feels right now. Like you said, not that... before TKO, I'm not sure, but to me that would probably be like the Israel Adesanya years, and he was fighting a couple of times a year. Like, guys were making stars of themselves, but it feels like a lot of these guys now, like, when is Ankalaev going to fight again? Like John Jones, as much as I love John Jones, I read this week, I think he's had 2 fights in the last 5 years. So, like, at some point, man, these guys need to be more active to create some sort of buzz, to get people to care.
They're not great at creating new stars. They're not. I mean, it can't be up to John Jones forever. They're not great at making a new star. They're not great at promoting right now. They're not great at making you care about any of these people. They did a nothing job of making you care about Sean Brady on Saturday night. What did they do to make you care about Sean Brady? Why do I care about him? Because he's from Philadelphia? What do I care?
Well, I beg to differ, Dave. And to be honest, I'm just saying it from the perspective of not a big. I thought it was a big name fight when you have guys like Yan in there and Leon Edwards.
You're a super fan. You're diehard like crazy.
Yeah.
You're eating up whatever they're serving you.
But at the same time, it delivered well.
I watched it.
Look, Leon Edwards versus Sean Brady is like a very good fight. Like, it's worthy of being a fight night main event. But to Dave's point, where is like the market, the promotion? Like, nobody. It feels like these fights are just happening one after the other, and there's not a lot of buzz behind any of them. And that's like the UFC's job, to promote it better, to make us scared, to create a storyline. And that seems to be lacking.
You know, they have some guys that people are excited about. They got Shavkat Rakhmonov, they got Khamzat Chimaev, but those guys are missing in action half the time.
We need guys to be active.
Yep. Exactly.
And I don't want to make, okay, so you see at the gym today, I was talking with the younger crew, and they were talking about boxing where a lot of people don't care. And there was a time where people cared about boxing, but these boxers were more active. And then like you got to all these guys that fight like once a year, once every 18 months. And you don't want the UFC to get to that with your stars, man. You need your stars to keep on being active. Like, so I hope the UFC figures that out, because you don't want to fall into like, you could be the next boxing where people don't care that much about your sport because most of your big stars don't fight enough. So, like, careful, make sure that you're active. Like, keep on promoting your brand. And these fighters, if you want to make money, man, that's how you do it, by being active and promoting your brand. It's not by being inactive.
But you also got a lot of
performance.
Oh, nice! Whoa,
we got it.
Bravo!
I'm not
that
impressed
was
by your
beautiful.
performance.
There you go. Anytime I'm
But
not
we need
impressed.
a counter one, man. We need a counterbalance on that. We need a counter. Like, who the fuck is
I'm
that
good
guy?
on
We
the
need that
GSP for
producer. No,
like
but
it.
listen, you're right. But the thing is that to get people to become stars, you got to look at the prospects, and there's a lot of prospects that are not fighting enough to get those names. Like, you got the Bo Nichols, you got the Peyton Talbot, you have the Tatsuro Taira. You got these guys that should be on some of these cards to really start building their name. Some of these guys haven't fought since 2024.
Like, so please stop.
Well, look at Conor when he became a star.
Wally?
When Conor became a star, he was fighting. He was active. And then, he became too big and he stopped fighting. But his rise to the top, Conor was an active fighter. Like, before his Jose Aldo fight, he fought a bunch, and he earned the respect of people. That's how he got to be a superstar. Like, people are not going to start loving fighters just because they fight once a year. They want to see like warriors that show up, and that's what's going to build their brand. And I could understand at some point, okay, like John Jones, GSP at the end of his career. Okay, you could go to one fight a year. I completely understand that. But a lot of these other guys, like, you're not at that level, man. You need to be more active, man.
Yep. Like the Khamzats and, those guys, like, nobody on the come up is fighting often and gaining a buzz. And I think that's a really good point about guys that used to gain a buzz by just fighting so often and winning. Guys that would come in on a tear and just start beating people, and you go, my God, this guy seems unstoppable. But maybe because the competition is higher, it's not happening, or the UFC is not allowing it for one reason or another.
But that's the case for Sean Brady.
Better.
Yeah.
But you got to give Sean Brady some credit there. He's like 18-1, and he had to beat a big name. You can't get a better name under his belt than Edwards. let's give the guy some credit. He came in, he performed well, and he won exceptionally well. So this is the beginning for a guy that we're going to keep hearing more and more, this Sean Brady. And if you look at the top 15 prospects, the UFC prospects, I was looking at them. You know, and I keep going back to that. There's a lot of guys that are there that are killers, and they should be on some of these cards to build that name, like Shamil Gaziev. I looked at that guy, and I'm like, shit, it's true. You know, you got guys like Renat, the Gladiator, the guy there. Like, these guys haven't fought since 2024, December. I understand that. They've won. Shamil won by TKO. You've got Farid Basharat, who won by a decision in 2024. These guys are all guys that could become, like, names, but we're not giving them that opportunity, and we're going back with a Kevin Holland on the main card. And I'm happy. Kevin won me money, man, and he won a lot of people money. And I like Kevin, but we should get some of these prospects to start being on the big shows. That's how you build them. And that's how Pereira got there, too, and all the rest, right? Including Connor, like Fred said.
Yeah, they got to win fights too, though, AJ. You know, they got to be on the big shows, and they got to be winning consistently.
Yeah. I would go more with
that's like Diego
Sean
Lopes.
Brady. I would go more with what you said about Sean Brady, where that's where, like, the UFC, you have a guy that just beat the former champion. You need to promote him, man, and he needs to be fighting within 6 months at the most. He has to be fighting again.
Yeah.
Like, he had an impressive win, man. Build him up. Like, do something with that.
In a big fight, too.
You know,
and if somebody drops out from the title fight, you know, like if Jack Della drops out, Sean Brady should be right in getting the call.
Yeah.
Right, I agree.
That's how you make a star in the UFC. That's how you make it. I mean, that's just how it works.
But if some of these guys are not going to be like champs and whatnot, you look at guys like Cowboy Cerrone, you look at guys like Clay Guida in the past. These guys were fighting like more times in 1 year than most people have done in like their career. And that's the thing. You need guys that are going to be out there that are going to make a name that even if they're not champs, people are going to want to pay money to see them. Like when Cowboy Cerrone was fighting, I was like in awe. You know what I mean? I would have loved to see Clay Guida fight, even though, I mean, but I never got a chance to. But these are guys that make, you know, they make a fight.
Well, they
really
got Kevin
exciting,
Holland.
You know,
he's kind of that guy.
But he is, and there's a lot of credit to Kevin Holland. You know, like the guy comes out and he fights all the time, and he fought very well on Saturday. You know, and that's the thing with Kevin Holland.
36-year-old guy who hadn't fought in 2 years. I mean,
still, bud.
Gunnar Nelson is like semi-retired.
Well, Gunnar didn't do too bad in there as well. It was
he didn't. Which
there was a point,
just shows you the level of what's going on here.
No, it is. But Dave,
then we have the title fight coming up: Jack Della versus Bilal. I mean, come on, come on. That's the welterweight title fight. The welterweight division is not exciting at all. I'm struggling to find a UFC division that is exciting right now.
I think the heavyweight division can be exciting if they had more fights. Like, you got Tom Aspinall there. Even though you have Cyril
nobody in the heavyweight division.
Middleweights.
Who do you have?
Oh, yeah,
Dricus?
That's true. Khamzat, Dricus. After that, it's pretty thin. Maybe.
Yeah,
we've seen the matchups already.
We've seen it all. Middleweight, mid. Welterweight, nothing. Lightweight is like always kind of popping. There's things happening, you know? Featherweight, nothing.
But these guys still need to be active. I'll go back, like, look at GSP's run. Like, at some point, he was fighting Dan Hardy. Who else? Like, he fought a couple of guys that were like, are they really legit contenders? This is an easy fight for, like, even the Jake Shields fight. People pretty much knew, like, this is a fight for GSP.
Jake Shields at the time was like unbeatable. Jake Shields beat Dan Henderson.
He didn't have the striking to compete with GSP. Anyways, I just say, like, to me, there was a lot of fight for GSP or Anderson Silva fighting Thiago Leites and whoever else. Like there was a lot of these fights that were not very compelling, but at least the guys were still active, man. You need these guys to beat up on people.
Yeah, I agree. And, why isn't Dricus fighting? Like, Dricus should be more active. He should be a guy we see fight more often.
Yeah, but they make more money these days. So, like he makes 2-3 big paydays and it's like, okay, I want to take some time off now and relax, whereas before, man, I think guys' money was not as big, so they were probably more inclined to fight more often.
Meanwhile, the next pay-per-view that they got for us, right? The next pay-per-view that they're actually doing, April 12th in Miami, UFC 314. The main event is Alex Volkanovski against Diego Lopes for the vacant now featherweight title. Vacant. I can't get excited for a vacant championship fight between a guy who just lost the belt and another guy.
And and also like Topuria, the whole thing, like he's not even like getting a title shot right now at the lightweight. It's not official. He might fight like Oliveira or whatever. Like, so why did he vacate his title? Instead of that, man, I would have rather have seen him keep on dominating that division to a point where you just get an automatic title shot when you go up there. Like, you shouldn't be go up in weight and having to earn your title shot. Like, your title, if you're the champion at a lighter weight class, you dominating that weight class should be enough to warrant a title shot. And look, maybe he just hasn't done that, and he needs to dominate a couple of other guys, man, and then he gets his title shot.
That whole thing is super weird. Topuria was a guy where you thought, hey, maybe they have a star in the making. And then out of nowhere, after he beats Holloway and Volkanovski in the same year, the two kings of the featherweight division, he's fighter of the year in 2024. He comes out in 2025 and says, I'm vacating my title and going up to 155. The UFC says, cool, that's nice for you. They don't offer him a fight. They don't do nothing. They got no plan. They should have immediately, Fred, you're 100% right, turned around and said he's fighting Islam for the belt on this date. But they didn't do that. We don't know who Islam is fighting. Islam is like, oh, he doesn't deserve a title shot. He should beat some lightweights first. It's like, what, dude? Are you calling the shots now? I guess he is, because the UFC's not making the Topuria fight, even though that's the fight clearly that needs to happen. So you lose what's potentially a superstar for the featherweight division, a guy that can be the A-side to a bunch of pay-per-views. Instead of him on top with the featherweight title, he's just a lightweight contender fighting Charles Oliveira in the co-main event of some thing, or a main event of a fight night somewhere. Like, what is that? It's going backwards. It's absurd. The whole Topuria thing is ridiculous, and now UFC 314 is stuck with a consolation prize featherweight title main event. This isn't to determine who the best featherweight is. We saw in 2024 who the best featherweight was. It's Ilia Topuria. But now I guess he can't make featherweight anymore, so the guy he knocked out is back, and another guy who's just around. He'll fight for it. It's outrageous. It's outrageous. And this is what the UFC is trying to offer us. It's no good.
Yeah.
And, Joe Rogan doesn't want to come to Canada. Joe Rogan says he'd rather go to Russia than Canada because he doesn't like the Canadian government. Even though he probably doesn't know this, by the time UFC 315 in Montreal rolls around in May, there could be a new government entirely because we're going to have an election at the end of April. So,
True.
And I know he didn't like Trudeau. He kept talking about Trudeau and how much he didn't like him. That became a big buzzword for him. I'm not sure how he feels about the new guy. I don't know if he knows Trudeau's no longer around, but I think he's kind of aware of that. I don't know if he knows he's a new guy.
Listen, Dave, I met Rogan here in Montreal, and I spoke with him, and we hung out like
meeting
years
of the
back.
minds.
Meeting of the minds, man. And the guy loved Montreal. He used to come up to Montreal quite often. You know, look, you know, there's reasons why he's probably not coming. You know, whatever. But regardless, I mean, he always loved Montreal. And
he might be protesting, quite frankly.
He might be protesting, but let me tell you, I mean, he could be. But, you know, it's not like it's an exceptional card in Montreal either to really, like, trek it out here, you know?
It's not worth the trip. I'm not going. I don't even want to take a bus ride over there. You know what I mean? I'm not driving. I'm not walking. I'm not going. It's not worth it. I don't blame him. He lives in Texas. I live in Montreal.
Always bigger in Texas, man. Well, look, I think it's exciting that we're finally getting a UFC back in Montreal. It's been 10+ years. You know, it's not the greatest
card. It was a good card.
But it's going to be, yeah, but it'll be like, you know, I like to see like how it's going to go down fight week in Montreal. There's George.
I'm not impressed by your performance.
I'm not impressed.
That's what she said. Yeah, I know. I've been there.
That's too bad.
Yeah, I know.
For her and you.
I know. I should use that over my bed. Listen, I was going to say,
should we
gotta have fun, man.
Fred?
Regardless.
Like, what was that? What did that even mean?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Long story.
Didn't mean anything.
Listen, we got to be there. We got to be at like whatever event that's happening in Montreal. We got to be present. We got to have fun, and you got to enjoy it, man.
What?
You know?
I don't know what you're talking
Ringside
about.
Report? Fight week in Montreal?
We're not going.
Damn, I'm going. You know
You're
I'm going.
going?
And you know that the PR mark is going to be there for sure, man. We represent Ringside while you guys are going to be watching us.
All right.
I'm not even sure if Antoinette, I see her on the chat. I think she might be in Montreal for that too.
I don't think
Let me know,
going.
Antoinette.
I'm good on that. I'm good. I don't support
Rogan,
the
man.
UFC.
Excuse me?
I don't support the UFC. I don't like it.
There goes our channel.
I mean, we talk about the UFC, but I don't support them as a business, as an entity.
I do. I think they're a great business. One of the greatest businesses that have been around in the last decades.
Yeah,
you know?
I like MMA.
Well,
You know? I think there's a difference.
but who's stronger than the UFC model? Let's be honest.
Nobody, unfortunately.
With the payroll that they have. Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, who has more like, you know, tentacles in like anything, everything. It's the UFC.
And
you know, people know more UFC fighters than they'll know like who's the baseball players in the Yankees, you know, other than Yankee fans. I mean, overall on a worldwide scale, everyone knows Conor McGregor, George St. Pierre, Khabib, Pereira, you know?
Yeah, if that's true,
Let's be honest.
why are the Yankees getting paid so much more to play baseball?
Well, they are getting paid a lot more, but doesn't mean they're going to win the World Series.
Some more tickets, that's for sure.
I just think that, you know, I think Dana White, you know, I think he's a very, very bright guy, and he's delivered his product time and time again, even through COVID. If it wasn't for like MMA
All right.
and UFC,
Yeah.
he would have had nothing
Cool.
to watch.
So great. That's nice, AJ. You're such a big fan of the UFC and what they do.
Right.
Yeah. They have another shitty card this weekend in Mexico.
Viva Mexico!
Yeah, they're gonna milk all the money they can get out of those poor Mexicans in Mexico City and charge ridiculous prices for this bad card.
Where's Pete, man? Where's
What?
Jason?
Okay.
You'll be watching it.
So Brandon Moreno coming out of retirement.
He's still
to
ranked
fight
second,
Steve
man.
Erceg,
Who's ranked 8th, I believe.
a flyweight fight.
It should be a good fight, Dave. Let's be honest. It'll be an exciting fight, regardless. There'll be fireworks.
I don't know if I've been excited about a flyweight fight since Demetrius Johnson left the UFC. No? Am I wrong?
Oh.
You might not be
You've
wrong.
got- yeah.
No, I don't think
No,
I'm
you might
wrong,
have a-
Fred. I
you
think
might have
I'm
a
right.
point.
I don't think I've given a shit about flyweight since DJ left. Man, he was cool.
Yeah.
Too bad we don't have anybody that cool anymore in the UFC. Really didn't appreciate him when he was around because they had so many other cool stars that he was kind of overshadowed.
How many title defenses over how long? Like, I bet he fought like at least 2-3 times a year. Like,
yeah, it was unbelievable. He was just running through people. He was the best. Who's the flyweight champion now?
Pantoja.
Oh, yeah. How come he never fights?
True. You got a point.
What's his problem? Like, this is the thing with some of these guys. How much money could he really be making per fight? Pantoja. And, like, I barely know he's a champion, and I watch the sport. You think the average fan knows Alexander Pantoja is the flyweight champion of the UFC? Nobody knows. Nobody gives a shit. You know why? Because he never fights. He never fights. And when he does fight, it's like co-main event or something. Fight more often. Fred, you're right. They got to fight more often because we don't see them. We don't know who the hell they are. Even Merab Dvalishvili. Fight more. Fight more. All these guys.
Yep, you're right. You're right.
That aren't really that known need to fight more. Simon Haidt said Pantoja just fought Asakura like 2-3 months ago. Who else are he going to fight? Yeah, well, that's another problem.
It's true. They
brought in this guy from nowhere to fight Pantoja because they had nobody to fight him. But the fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter who he fights. Fight a body. Find another guy from some shitty promotion for Pantoja to fight. He should be fighting every 4 to 5 months. That fight was easy. Give him easy fights so we know who he is. That fight looked easy. Make him fight Brandon Royval or Amir Albazi or Kai Kara France or any of these jabronis. It doesn't matter who they are. Make him fight them all the time, constantly.
Well, look,
so we remember his goddamn name.
Look, if Brandon Moreno wins on Saturday, I can see that fight happening, you know? And you're right. He's got to fight again. That's the only way you build up marketability. You know, I understand the 2-3 months of fighting. Like Simon says, he's right. Like, sometimes it's a bit too close. You need time to, like, recover from those injuries that we obviously don't see. Build up another training camp. But I agree with you. You know, the more you fight, the more people know you. And that's how you build, like, you know, your status.
Twice in 2024, twice in 2023.
It's true, Simon. You're right.
2 times is not enough. Should be 3 times. 3 times a year. Get in there. How much time do you need? Come on.
Simon, you're right, you know, but when you look at the top 5, you got Brandon Royval, you have Brandon Moreno, you have Amir Albazi, you have Kai Kara France, and then you have Tatsuro Taira. So, you know, it's hard. It's really not a great position for the UFC to be in all divisions to build like that marketability with their champs. You know, this is their low point of the UFC. You know, things will get better by the end of the year, but
I don't see the high point.
There isn't a high point now. They're at their lowest point. And he's got a point, Simon. You know, like he beat Brandon twice. How many times do you want to see guys fight?
Well, I don't want to see him fight at all.
No, but that's the division. What are you going to do? That's why you got to hype up all these prospects that are out there on the top 15.
When they had the chance. I thought they were getting rid of it back then. What the hell happened to that? Should have just got rid of it. That's what I say. What's the point? What's the point? No one wants to watch it.
No. Keep getting active. Defend titles. Put him on fight nights, man. He's not a pay-per-view fighter, man, but make him main event some fight nights.
Mm-hmm. AJ, you want to do a parlay for this stupid fight night thing?
No, but I want to make a comment.
What? Well, are you going to make a comment with Simon? Or are you just going to be a dick here?
No, I'm going to make a parlay. But Simon's got a point there that maybe Dana White is more focused on power slap, which he's getting like a lot of visibility for some reason. You
I think
never know,
Dana's
man.
focused on a bunch of other things: boxing, power slap, whatever else he's doing, blackjack.
Retirement,
Dana's,
maybe. Soon.
doing a bunch of stuff. I don't know how focused he is on the UFC. It's not the same UFC it was 2 years ago. It's a different UFC.
Yeah, but
It's a different
like I said,
WWE.
there's highs and lows in all businesses.
Yeah.
You go through like different trends and things like that. This is like kind of like a low part for the UFC, but they still have a lot of quality people in there. It's just that we don't have anybody that's going to make a buzz. But then, you look at guys that are there that are going to sell out. You look at like the Patty Pimblets. I love when Patty's fighting, he brings a lot of hype, Pereira's still there, and you still have Tom Aspinall that still hasn't made his mark, and he will. And eventually, man, people are going to know this guy's name because I think he's going to go through everybody.
Oh, God.
Including
AJ,
John Jones.
There's nobody. So even if he beats John Jones, the fight after, maybe a rematch with John Jones. After that, there's nobody.
That's it. And you're right. That's right. But that's why it's so critical right now.
Okay? Anyways.
That's why it's critical, man.
UFC and WWE, they're owned by the same company, the TKO Group, right? WWE did a show in Italy last Friday. It was flat. It was boring. It was overpriced. And then the UFC did a show the next day in London, and people were giving it the exact same review. It's just a trend now with this TKO Group. They are giving you very mid shows. They are not giving you real stars or real action or real entertainment. What they're giving you is the brand name. They're giving you the WWE SmackDown name or Raw name or the UFC Fight Night name, but they're not actually giving you a quality product. And this is becoming the hallmark of the TKO Group led by the evil Ari Emanuel. And we will not let you forget it. Because it's obvious. As somebody who watches both closely, I'm totally focused on how they operate, and it's very similar, the UFC and WWE. And you're noticing new business practices from both companies that weren't there before, and they're similar from the UFC and the WWE. It's because of the TKO Group, Ari Emanuel, and the evil businessmen that run these companies. Okay? So you want to do a parlay for this stupid fight night, AJ? You want to do that now?
Yeah, let's do it, man. Does the champ go first, or do you guys want to go?
Yeah, you go. You're such a genius when it comes to fight picks, so.
I did, man. I made
I
some
just
money
want
last
I
week.
just want to make sure that if my
AJ's on a
parlay
roll.
wins or Fred's parlay wins, that there is a graphic made and a lot of excitement and messages sent out to everybody. Look what AJ did. AJ goes on the Ringside Report
Mark,
Instagram,
man, has my back.
and he goes, "Look what AJ did. Look what AJ did." And it's like it's AJ saying, "Look what AJ did."
Hey, but it's a 4-fight parlay. It's not a 2-fight parlay. It was a 4-fight parlay. Came out, and including I called the submission with Sean Brady. I called out that submission. So listen, AJ's in a roll. PR Mark has my back, and if you guys actually win this weekend, you'll get you'll get something. You'll get some call out. But I have a feeling I'm probably going to win because you guys are not even into the card. I don't even think you know who's on the card at all. You want me to go? I'll go. I'm going to start with the card. So you got your bet99.com up?
Yeah, give it to me, jabroni.
Let me give it to you. So I'm going with my Brandon Moreno because I think, unlike London, he's going to perform for Mexico. He's coming out. I like Steve Erceg, but I think Brandon Moreno will be able to carry this through. Then I'm going to go with Manuel Torres.
You'd rather go to Russia than Canada. What a dick move.
I love to go to Russia. Man, I'd like to go to Russia. What are you talking about?
Crazy. Keep it moving, motherfucker. What do you got next?
Yeah, so look, I'm going to go with
Moreno
Torres, man.
over
All his
Erceg.
fights have
That's
ended,
a slam dunk. We all have that. Next.
Well, you never know. Next.
Minus
then
250 the favorite in Mexico. He's winning. Who else?
Then this is a tough one. I didn't want to pick it, but I'm going to go with Joe Pfeiffer on this. And Kevin is a much more well-rounded guy, but, he hasn't impressed me of lately. So
Joe Roddy Piper, okay?
And then I'm going to go with, the teen sensation, who's not a teen anymore. I think he's 18.
Raul
or is it still considered a teen?
Juniors.
Is he a teen at 18?
Minus 500.
Yeah, so Raul.
If the age ends with teen, AJ, he's still a teen.
Isn't he considered
That's usually
an adult?
how it works.
Not really, because in Canada, if you're 18, you're an adult. You're not considered a teen anymore.
18,
Criminal records
I
can
think
prove
you're
that.
still a teen. You're in your teens. You're in your
I don't
20s
know.
when you turn 20. You're in your teens when you...
Yeah, but you're not
when you're
considered
13,
a teenager.
14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19.
18 adults.
Those are your teen
Freddie, we gotta
years.
get Freddie to weigh in here. Get the judge, man.
Okay, Fred, weigh in, please.
I think AJ might have something here
What?
because in Canada,
Damn!
Shit.
AJ's on a roll, baby.
I mean, in the U.S., you
Boom!
are a teenager up to 19, but in Canada, you're not an adolescent here. You're like an adult at 19.
I think you're still technically adolescent. I don't know.
If you got arrested in
18.
Canada, you would know that. I'm just saying.
No, man. I don't really care either, though.
No. Anyways, I'm gonna say he's a teen.
When you're
Raul
from
Rosas
below the tracks
Jr.,
in the hood,
he's
you
minus
know.
500, the favorite. You're picking him to win.
Yeah, and I think he's going to win by submission.
Picking a
So
lot
I'm going
of
to make
heavy
it even
favorites
a little
here.
bit. Yeah, I'll make it sweeter. So that's my that's my parlay, man.
That's it.
Well, how much more do you want me to go? You want me to go through the
you
whole
missed
card?
this Torres pick, though. He said Torres.
Yeah, I
Oh,
said
did he?
Manuel Torres, Moreno, Pfeiffer, or whatever you want to call him, and Raul.
Manuel Torres.
It's Mexico's night, man.
Who the hell is that? Who the hell? Oh, minus 110 over Drew Dober. You think he's going to beat Drew Dober, the Doberman? I don't know, brother.
Si, senor.
Okay. Pendejo. There's $20 to win 83.88, or as AJ will tell you, $300,000 over at bet99.com. Brandon Moreno, Raul Rosas Jr., Joe Pfeiffer, and Manuel Torres. That's AJ's parlay.
Handale.
20 gets you 83, not 200.
That's coming out, man.
Okay.
Wow.
AJ? Just
Depends
so you
on how
know.
many coins you put in.
Fred, do something. Give me something.
Oh, man. I got Brandon Moreno, Drew Dober, Joe Pfeiffer.
Brandon Moreno, Drew Dober, the Doberman, and Joe Pfeiffer, Joe Roddy Pfeiffer. That's Fred's parlay. Oh, it's 20
We were close.
to get you 67. You got Moreno on there, you got the Doberman, and you got the Pife. Roddy Pfeiffer.
The only thing that we disagree was with the Doberman, man.
Okay. I'm going to give you something similar but different. I'm going to go with Brandon Moreno's. You got to go with the Moreno. I'm going to go with Lupi Godinez. Okay?
Lupi.
And
Yeah, she's there, right, on the prelim.
Raul Rosas Jr. I'm going to give you guys a shittier parlay than what you gave. The worst payout of the night will be the Team Dave parlay. You get basically nothing. You'll double your money, but, 20 gets you $45. How about that? Lupi Godinez minus 275. Brandon Moreno minus 250. And Raul Rosas Jr. I'm going all Mexico. In Mexico.
You're really
with Lupi,
nice, man.
Brandon, and Raul. Okay?
And let's not forget one thing, man. Free Kane. He won't be there at the fight, I don't think.
Kane was sentenced to 5 years, but he's already done some time served so he might be out in like a year
Something
to
100
3 years.
I think it's 100 and something days if you could look it up. But, he's not going to be in there that long, and I'm happy because, you know what? I love Cain, and I support him. I think Cain Velasquez did what a lot of people would have probably done.
Yeah, I don't
mean,
know.
I would have
Maybe.
I would've
Maybe
clipped him.
I don't know.
Like,
I just always think,
100%.
why didn't he just attack the man? Like, he shot
And
at
beat
a
the shit out of
guy
him.
and he missed that guy and he hit
Yeah.
the other guy. But why didn't he just attack the guy that did the thing, you know? Why didn't I just, like, attack him with your hands? Because, like, your hands are pretty good. Got some good hands on you, you know?
No, I agree with you. And everybody says the
It's
same
just
thing.
surprised
You're
he
like, Cain,
used a
should've
gun, you know? Because to me, Cain Velasquez doesn't need to use a gun.
No. A
I
gun
think
would
if
be
you
kinder
used a
in
gun
sense.
against Cain, like, the bullets wouldn't even work, dude. He's just such a man.
But that's why it's surprising, man. I guess he just lost it, and you know, a momentary lapse of reasoning, and he went for the gun. But you're right. I mean, if Cain would have got his hands on that guy, that would have been a much more painful experience by far. But again, regardless, I support Cain.
He's the greatest UFC heavyweight champion of all time.
I agree, man. I agree. He's a legend.
Pete Cain was the best. He was the best. My God, what a monster. All right. So, that's it.
That's it?
I bought an $11
Damn.
orange julep today. It was delicious. $11.
What? Are you
believe
kidding?
that?
What size?
Large.
Tell me it's large.
Yeah.
It's still $11?
I know.
Did you drink that slow?
I was shocked.
Jesus.
I was like, large julep. Boom, gives it to me.
Man, I want to go there right
I'm
now.
like, what? What do you mean?
You know what, bud? I'm going to go there right now. You just got
That's
me into the
crazy.
mood to get an orange julep, man.
Well, bring your wallet, brother, because it's not cheap. I was like, whoa, $11 for a drink. That is wild. It was good, though. I liked it. But that happened.
That's all
to
you
me
had? You
today.
didn't get a couple of hot dogs?
No, I just wanted the drink. I brought my own
Wow.
lunch, so I just wanted that with me. It was
What
nice.
the heck were you doing out there, man?
I work not too far.
Well, it's not that close either, but
It was like a
Power to
10-minute
you, man.
drive. It's
you
close.
had the urge, eh? But now that you said it, I want to go there now myself.
Yeah, it was opening day in baseball, man. Nice summer treat. You know what I mean? It's good. Why not?
Must have
why
been
not?
packed, I imagine.
No, it was like 11 in the
What?
morning. It wasn't packed at all. It's a cold day
11
today
in the
too.
morning. I bet you if I go there now, it's going to be packed.
All right. Well,
It's a night crowd there, you know?
I won't meet you
At
there.
$11, the last time we went there was me, you, and Angelo.
Yep.
We met up with Angelo.
It's a great spot. I recommend it. Orange Julep. It's a great place. I'm not trying to dissuade you
It's
from
iconic,
going.
man.
I'm just saying.
It's the
$11
big
for
O
a drink
and the-
was a little bananas. I was a little shocked. You know who
that
likes
is
going there too, right?
I'm not impressed by your performance.
GSP. GSP goes there.
That's
He
what
does.
he says about the juice now.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know he's
think
not
can
far.
afford
He
it.
doesn't. He can afford it. He could buy the whole orange, man. And if you see the size of that orange, believe me,
Yeah.
he can. And he trains not too far from there, so it makes sense.
Well, that's it. I don't know if he still does.
I wonder if he
'cause
gets
he's
it
got
for
his own
free.
private, I don't know.
Yeah, makes you. Yeah, it's true.
He doesn't go to TriStar
But-
too much, from what I understand. I think he's mostly at his private facility. I'm not sure. Who knows what
Oh,
he's
yeah.
up to? That guy.
Use me, man.
That guy. Mystery man
That
over
guy,
there.
Georgie.
All right. I'll be back tomorrow night with Johnny North. We'll talk about wrestling. Raw was in Glasgow. SmackDown in London tomorrow. Hopefully we'll be celebrating Pretty Deadly winning the tag team titles. Thank you to Fred for being Fred. And we'll see you again next week here on the Ringside Report Network.
Thanks for sticking with us to the end. We would really appreciate it if you could help us spread the word. Please share this episode on whichever social media platform you use. Add a comment below and consider reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. We are an audience-supported network, so consider becoming a recurring supporter at membership.ringsidereport.net. Check out our website at ringsidereport.net. Hope to see you again next time, and have a good night.